This concludes our sessions for today or for tonight, depending where you are. So now we can have a closing Q&A. So let me look at the chat window here to see if there's any questions. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat window. Naomi, did I miss any questions while we were doing the sessions?
You did not. There were two questions asked earlier, and they were already answered. But
okay, got it.
Now one was just added into the Q&A box, Dan.
Okay, got it. Let me see. Can you talk more about safety certification for AGL example for ADAS domain? Who wants to take that? Maybe Yamaguchi-san?
I can talk it.
Yeah. Can you talk more about safety certification for AGL example for the ADAS domain?
Currently, AGL not focus on the safety certification. So in ELISA community, already starting the how to certify the Linux kernel and which architecture is available in Linux environment. So need to discuss inside the ELISA committee. I think so.
Okay, thank you. Walt, do you want to add a few words on that and specifically the work we're doing with ELISA?
Yeah. So my suggestion is pre-check ELISA committee activities. It can check in the ELISA web page, and we can see the ELISA workshop materials.
Okay.
ELISA has an automotive work group that meets every week on Fridays, and then the automotive work group also has a weekly, more technical meeting. I think it's on Thursdays, more in the middle of the day or early in the morning European time, I believe. And if you go to elisa.tech, I can post the web page in the chat window. You can see what they're doing, and you can sign up for the mailing list and get their calendar of events as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and one more comment. So, ELISA automotive work group focus on use case. So, and another work group. So, safety architecture work group focus to the how to realize safety certification in Linux. So this meeting will hold tonight. So you are in my country and in tonight. So
it's already tonight here. Actually, it's getting morning now.
So difficult to sharing the timelines. It's separate to everyone. Yeah. And so,
any more questions? Okay, Changyuk, what is the plan for VirtIO integration in mainline? Instrument cluster seems to work on container and VirtIO works on hypervisor. Who should take that question?
For the
Jerry?
first,
Yeah.
yeah, for the first half of questions, what's the plan for the VirtIO integration in mainline? So my understanding, so this mainline is the Linux kernel mainline, is it? Or is it AGL mainline?
That's a good question. They didn't say. AGL
Okay.
mainline. Yeah.
So basically, the currently front end I have shown in the PowerPoint slides, especially for the OSIS version 1.0 devices, block devices, network, GPU, such kind of things has already been integrated to the AGL mainline. And our next step is to extend the more devices like audio, sensors, and camera. So you can already find the VirtIO in the AGL mainline, and you can follow the guideline of the AGL documentation to build with VirtIO.
Okay. What about the instrument cluster comment? Instrument cluster seems to work on container and VirtIO works on hypervisor. What are your thoughts on that?
And let me also answer a little bit about this. And actually, as Dr. Yamaguchi mentioned, the currently container EG is mainly focused on very low-end IC and IVI integration, which is a very simple use case. But virtualization EG is considering about more complicated cases, maybe not only integration IC and IVI simple use case, but also very fully functional IC, IVI, and even future another profiles like telematics and even DMS or ADAS to be integrated. So I think the difference is that maybe the current container EG is more related to some simple use case of integration, but for the virtualization EG, we are thinking about more complicated use case.
Okay. There's a comment here from Alex Benet. I should point out for VirtIO, there is an ordering for upstreaming. No specs should get merged with Oasis before Linux upstream will accept the front end. I see. Okay. Any other questions? Yamaguchi-san says, what is the name of the next two AGL releases?
In last release, in last last two AMM, Lorenzo required to always octopus.
Yeah, N and O.
I propose the oily octopus.
I don't know. That's Walt to decide.
Octopus is it's interesting. Yeah.
What was the proposal for octopus?
Walt probably has in mind a really weird fish that no one knows.
So Lawrence is now joining. If he is joining, please comment to this name.
So Walt, anything to announce yet? Probably not. NN.
Oh, I have NN. I have as a nifty needlefish.
Nifty needlefish. Wow.
And Yamaguchi-san, you're right on. Oh, it's about the outrageous octopus is what I have so far.
I like it.
So Lawrence is commented.
They sound tasty.
All right.
He accepted.
Any other questions from the audience?
Is it, hey Dan, is it definitely decided that ALS will be in Japan next year? I know you were talking about the timing.
Yeah, it's going to be in Japan. The
Okay.
timing is undecided. So they're debating whether to have it in the spring. That's, I think, was the first, option. But we brought up some interesting points, like, for example, in the spring, it's right after CES. So you end up having CES followed right after that with ALS, the two biggest events of the year, kind of squished together within 3 months, which seems to be, not optimal to
Right.
say the least. So that's my concern about having it in the spring. So there's no decision yet, and that's why we haven't really made a decision on AGL all member meeting, because we don't want to have an AGL all member meeting back to back with ALS. So we need to know where ALS is going to end up before we have a AMM decision.
So if the ALS is held in spring, then it will be too short from this year's ALS held in December.
Yeah, that's the other concern. It's only like 4 months apart or something, that's another concern. There's also the concern of, having it, maybe it's too soon for Japan in terms of travel restrictions. There's a lot of question marks. So maybe it's better to have it in Europe, because it seems like Europe, is opening up to foreign travel already. So
have ALS in Europe or the AMM?
No, the AMM, yeah,
Right.
the AMM in Europe, and then have ALS whenever we can have it. Everything's up in the air. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you. Any other questions? Oh, one more minute here if there's no questions. Okay, last call. All right, so that concludes the Q&A, and I want to thank everyone for joining.